Hey, what's up, people? How's it going? Today is Sunday, February 26th, 2023. And I'm going to be getting into the differences between IRTs and INDs, BMTs. Plus, just my whole graffiti outlook on graffiti and stuff like that. But first, let me start off with this laptop. Last time I said I was going to come on and I'm getting a laptop and hey, John Boy, just at the Waltons and everything. I did not purchase a laptop. I have the money in my account and everything like that. But what had happened is I went into Best Buy and I saw laptop computers for $400, $500, $600. And I asked the lady, I'm a YouTube influencer. I said, I would like to use it for YouTube only. She said, yeah, these will work great this time. I said, it's good. That's when I came on here and said, yeah, I'm going to get a laptop this time. But when me and my son went down to there, spoke to a dude, and he said, no, these laptops are no good for that. If that's your sole purpose of using this laptop, then no, I wouldn't get it for YouTube. It's no good. You got to go with this thing, which was like $1,000 or something like that, you know. So I said, I don't got that much money, you know, in my coffee thing. Yeah. So yeah, you have that. Plus my Patreon is starting. So I'm going to have some good stories on my Patreon. I'm going to be talking about like what graffiti crews I think really put it in that were like the shit I'm talking about. And then like graffiti crews that kind of were like the shit that you read about, like the whack-ass shit that these people did, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to tell you about the real motherfuckers out there like me, you know what I mean? Like, dudes who was out there putting it in, you know what I mean? The dudes you don't hear about, you know, like, I guess nowadays they'd be called, what is it, toxic masculine or something like that. These people I'm talking about, you know? They were real alpha motherfuckers, bro, yeah. But that's going to be on my Patreon, and that's going to drop. Anyway, let's get back into here now. So, all right, now on the IRTs, like I was saying with Grand Army Plaza, I was talking about, why did I only write on the ceilings of those things? Is I don't even know how to explain it. It's like so fucked up though. Yo, them 4 trades, man. Yo, people from back then, like, please, comment, man. Let them know, man. That shit was nowhere to fucking write. Like, honestly, even for someone like me, there was nowhere to fucking write. Yeah, you could write on the doors, the orange part of the door, because someone's ass is always rubbing up against it, and eventually through abrasion, like constant rubbing and rubbing, friction, the fucking tag would disappear. Just from someone constantly rubbing up on it. Now, right above the seats, too, it would be no good because Jerry curls was in a lot of hair products that were being put in people's hair. They fall asleep and they lean on the thing like this. If your tag's right there, I swear, your tag will like change colors like within a month and then like be gone. So yeah, those are spots that are constantly available, but for those reasons, people don't write on them. Windows, it's a cheesy toy move. You don't write on windows. That's how you burn the place. You don't write where the maps are either. That's how you burn the place. You could rip down posters and write there, but they're only going to put posters up and people ain't going to see your tags for months. So I would write on the ceilings. There was really no fucking room anywhere. And even ceilings with the fucking marker, I didn't even have to tip out. Like, I sit there and pin my tip, man. After you write on that shit a couple of times, or you go over a couple of bolts and screws and you're writing on the fucking fans and shit like that, yeah, after you do that, your tip is fucking as pinned out as you fucking need, man. Believe that shit, straight up. I used to get a kick out of that with people pinning out their tips. I'm like, come on, man, you gotta manhandle that shit, yo. And that shit is pinned out. That's my personal opinion. I used to get a kick out of that shit, yeah, with people sitting there, beep, 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 beep. Fuck out of here. Fill it and write, yo. Fill that fucking thing up and smash shit. Yeah, so literally the 4s, like we're talking about the 4 trades, things were smashed. Like the insides, there was literally like 30, 40 fucking years of graffiti on them fucking things before. Like, seriously, you got to go back to like the 70s and shit. Like, they really were not cleaning. And to the best of my knowledge, you can look, if you had time and you were back in that time and you were sitting in that car, like taking a long subway ride, and you just really examine the graffiti, which I've done hundreds of times throughout my life because I was a graffiti writer. I'd sit in them 4 trains and look. And you know, like under shit, you'll actually see like fucking like shit from like the 70s, man. Yeah, you'll see like dynamite tags and shit like that. Yeah, dynamite 149. Yeah, and you'll see like fucking voice of the ghetto and shit like crazy shit, man. The world is a ghetto. Fucking KTMT, but he wasn't that far back. But yeah, the ink would turn brown and shit like that, and the shit under that would be yellow, and like there was no way, like they never really went through those trains and buffed the insides. Never. Now, to the best of my knowledge, I could sit there and catch like from there. You'll see shit like fucking Peanut and shit like that on the fucking things. Mitch 77, he was still running hard when I was writing. Mitch 77 still had a lot of insides with big fat caps with flat black paint and shit like that. Yeah. Yeah, Fritos, motherfucking Fritos. Yeah, D Wild Style. Yeah, Johnny Irish. D, that motherfucker was king of that shit back then. Dual Wolf. Not dual RIS, a dual wolf. Yeah, a different dual. Yeah, a lot of people cope too, had a lot of shit. You ever look at the pictures that are online, and it's like different shades of black. Like it just, like originally, like it just turns to yellow. Like, yeah, it's all like Flowmaster. Like as far back, like Stitch and stuff like that. Like, yeah, for real. Checker 170, like, yeah, you see crazy shit. Kit. Yeah, fuck yeah, you see like MG Boys, yeah, fuck yeah, well D Wild Style, yeah, all that shit, man, would just be piled on that. Rush MPC, yeah, all that shit. Rush Hour, yeah, fours were fucking destroyed, man. There was nowhere to write. Like if you went in there and sat down and thought, oh, let me catch it, you'll be in the car all day. The ceiling was systematic. Boom, bow, boom, bow, boom, bow, next car, boom, bow. Boom, bow. If anyone's sitting down long enough, they're going to look up at the fucking ceiling. You got me? Ceilings. Yeah. It was the only thing that you could actually go from here. And then go like that. And then go like that. And without like sitting there being, where am I going to write? Like sitting there squeezing your tags and starting beef with people because you're going over them. Yeah. Die, lie. Yeah. Die and lie. I remember them motherfuckers up like crazy. DIE and LIE. Dutch is another one that was up a lot. Yeah, fucking, yeah, that shit goes way, way back, man. Yeah, I'd write on the fucking ceilings, man. Band 2, destroyed them fucking things. You don't even see fuzz tags in there. And I'm talking about like 85, 84, shit like that. Yeah, yeah, you didn't even see fuzz up in them fucking things still. Delhi, Take 5, Fed 2, all that shit, man. KM on the ceilings, Chris 217, yeah. Ceilings was the shit, man. That was the only spot where you could go. Where you could literally just be catching a tag here and see another spot right there and go. But if you're doing like this shit, you're done. Unless you actually bring like beige paint to paint over it, and then people are gonna know you did some scumbag shit, and they're gonna come after you for it. So if you do scumbag shit, be prepared. Put your armor on, be ready to rock. Man, true story. You had that. Now on the letter lines, I gotta admit, I fucked around with the letter lines, but when I was fucking with them things early on, like I literally was an IRT writer for like the first 5 years of my life as a graffiti writer, maybe even 6 years. I really didn't hit the letter lines at all. I was only hitting the IRT lines. I was pretty much considered like a Manhattan and Bronx type of a writer. I had never wandered out to Brooklyn or Queens at that point in my life as a young teenager. I pretty much, everything I wrote on, as far as it goes with the MTA and the subways, was the Bronx. Like I've explained in the past, jumping in at 2s and 5s, I'd hit the 6 layups, Zariga, Middletown Road, Castle, all that bullshit up there, Pelham line, the D's, I poked around with them a little bit later, and those were like kind of buffed. And I was like, oh shit, like Dole, C-A-C, he had that shit smashed. Dole would tear them insides up. Yeah, a lot of dudes like that. Roaches, he had a lot of, Roaches at TFV, he was up a lot, man. That dude had a lot of shit, a lot of letter lines, numbers, he had 2s and 5s. Yeah, but yeah, you had a lot of fucking people. But when I would hit those things, the D's on the insides, I was like, oh shit, yo. But all of a sudden, I'd be like, yo, I don't see it. They buff it that quick. And it's like to stay, like Ant, A-N-T, like to stay on top of them fucking lines with how fast they buffed the insides of them. They were bigger too, and they were more spacious. They had 4 doors on each side, the BMTs and the INDs. They had like 4 doors on each side. and they cleaned the insides. I don't know, maybe it was easier to clean. Because you know what it is? They were more like a panel. Whereas the 2s, the 5s, the 6s, the number lines, they were all like just beige at one point, like painted beige. Where the other things was almost like an enamel paneling. Like the A's, the Ding Dongs, JFK's Express, they actually had like a little pattern, almost like a Louis Vuitton type pattern on the walls. Real small, going up the sides, a beige with a brown stem, which is almost like a vinyl paneling. But the IRTs didn't have that shit. Now the D's, believe me, I used to tear them shits up. But the R's, the flats that I used to get down there when I first bumped into Cost, I think it was with Relic or Realm or someone like that. I forget, Doc, KRT and them. Down there I'd get the flats, the R flats, the RR flats. Now those look like fucking 5s and 4s and 3s and all that crazy shit. But they had 4 doors. They were bigger, and on the insides they were painted beige with just a bunch of fucking graffiti on them. And that line, that shit stayed a lot. On the RR flats, like the letter line flats, the graffiti would last a long fucking time. But when you start dealing with them Bulldogs, Star Wars, all that ding dong crazy old shit, yeah, they buff through that shit real fucking quick. When I mean buff through it, I don't mean cross people out. I mean the city of New York has people clean the insides, the outsides, and everything. They were more on top of buffing those. IRTs, hell, the 4s were bombed straight on up until they got new ones. I think that's what happened. Early on, they realized they were getting a new shipment of a certain fucking line. So they said, fuck it, let's just put them on. I think the 4s, like the 3s, those are like the first lines to turn new. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the 7s have been clean for a long time, a big portion of my career. Like the 7s, they cleaned them up, but they were just pretty much Redbirds, painted red and painted them beige on the insides. But that was early on, man. That was like mid to early 80s, man. Yeah. All right, yo, listen. My Patreon, man, get on it. Yo, I'm going to be talking some real shit there. I'm going to, I don't have to watch my tongue, so to say. I can speak freely. Yeah, YouTube's been a little restrictive lately, from what I understand. I don't want no problems, So, yeah, my Patreon, man, it's going to be popular. I'm going to be really, really getting into some wild shit on that. I'm going to tell you about crews that were out there really cutting shit up and doing some dirt. Yeah. And then some crews that were just a bunch of little bitch-ass pussies. Yeah. And I'll point it out to you. See you there, man. Yo, for real. Also, a couple of you guys, this is the 4th or 5th person now that asked me. Let me turn this off and start it. I don't want to go over 20 minutes. Hang on, people. Wait for it. All right, now. Few people, I'd say this is the 6th or 7th person now, who's asked me if I could teach them graffiti. I'm going to be on Patreon, and I could do that. I just don't understand what you mean. If you're talking about like how to like get in there and like get your name up and become a recognized graffiti writer, yeah. I could show you. I could tell you that in 2 fucking minutes. But on my Patreon, I could get into like styles as far as it goes with. I turned around, I was like, oh shit, that's not nothing to do with graffiti. But yeah, like lettering, stuff like that. Yeah, I could get into stuff like that. I'm probably not the best person to go to for that, but yeah, sure. I can do that. Like wild style pieces of graffiti and stuff. There's so many other people that are much better than me at it. But yeah, I could get into that. Sure, definitely. I'm going to do it on my Patreon. It'll be like my first tier eventually. I'm still trying to build it, but I'm going to drop a video today on my Patreon. So go check it out there, man. Subscribe. On my Patreon, you could go on there and you'll see stuff I would say is more unfiltered. I'm going to talking more violent. I can really get into depth and not have to stifle my wording. Yeah. All right, people. Remember, check me on Patreon. I'm going to drop it right after this, so it's going to be coming on. Yeah, I'd like to see you guys on there. All right, people.